I'll try to make this short. Just the thoughts on the weekend in general. I thought the trucks and Xfinity were pretty alright. I didn't really have much of a gripe with them, except for the fact that there's leeches in them, which again have no business being there. And Allmendinger dumped Sheldon Creed, who was a Xfinity regular, which is a little bullshit. Not a fan of that. I generally like Allmendinger, but yeah, that was stupid. So not a fan of that. But the actual racing and stuff between Allmendinger and Byron, like that was pretty good. If you take that aside, I mean, the race was all right. Really, just the Cup Series is really what I want to talk about because I think it's maybe the most frustrating one of the weekend where it was so close to being a fantastic race. First stage, second stage, I thought was fine. I appreciate the fact that there's no stage yellows, no actual definitive, objective, scripted yellows for it. I appreciate that. Is it going to save the race? Is it going to elevate it into like another stratosphere because of that? No. But I appreciate it. And I wish that could be the norm everywhere because it was you were able to let things just play out and you didn't know what was going to happen with the strategy. And things kind of got interesting after stage 2. There was a long period of time where there wasn't a yellow. Tyler Reddick was going on this one strategy and then he changed it and his car was so absurdly fast that he was able to, like I said, change strategy to something else and run down the leader that was like 6 seconds behind him. It was insane. His car was on another level. Speaking about that, I got a rant about uh, Kurt in the booth. And I hate to do it, but he was just cheerleading that 45 car so hard. And when you're a broadcaster like that, you're supposed to be as, unbiased as possible, but he could not help himself to talk about that 45 car all day. It got tiring. As much as I simp for Kurt, it just got old hearing it. But then there's a part of me at the end of the race where Kurt was choking up. It's hard for me to even fucking talk about because it gets me emotional. But hearing his, like, you can hear he has like a lump in his throat trying to express how much he wishes he could be in that car. And he's so happy for Reddick doing so well. It bothers me. It hurts me so fucking much. Kurt is in this fucking position. I'm sorry. I'm never, ever gonna forgive NASCAR for releasing this car in the state it did when it was really when it disgusting. Should have never happened. And it hurt. It pains me to hear Kurt like that. Who really should be in that car still? Could he have won in that car probably today? Probably not, because Reddick has been on another level with road course racing. But to not go out in the terms that he would want, it bugs me. But then it gets into this weird part of, where's that line from being an unbiased commentator to being a little bit biased? I think on that last lap, I think it gives some leeway because of the context behind it. Because that really was Kurt's car that he had to be removed out of his own will. I think that last lap, I can forgive it. But everything else before it was just grating. It's just too much bias. And it just was too far. And again, it's this weird gray area of how much are you willing to tolerate? And that last lap, I think I just stopped putting up with it, and I felt more for Kurt in that situation because he was getting emotional. And it's a good storyline. It's a really good storyline. Just everything surrounding that car and how everything came to be with it. Unfortunately, Fox didn't really capitalize on it, and Kurt had to be basically the one to do it. Gunter really had no input of meaning or worth. He literally chimed in once every 10 laps. So, I don't know. It's just, he was just a waste of time, unfortunately, to be there. And then you had Chase Elliott there, so you have, 5 people at one point. It's just absurd. Too many cooks in the kitchen. But, I don't know. Just, after that, let's actually get into the part of the race that I really liked, and that was this green flag stint where it was basically Reddick, Byron, and then Suarez. Reddick and Byron weren't sure if they could make it on fuel. Suarez could make it on fuel, so Suarez was actually starting to make a charge to the front. It looked like it was going to be a very interesting type of race if it kept playing out. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Now, to be fair, these yellows today were legitimate. They weren't BS. I guess there's a lot of debate on whether the dirt on the track should be yellow, but dirt was covering the entire track. I feel like that warrants it. And usually I'm pretty strict. I'm pretty harsh or critical on when yellow should be thrown, but I feel like that one is a very justified, or at least a reasonable one, when there's dirt covering the entire corner. So I think I can forgive that. Cautions were shockingly consistent. Austin Dillon had an issue similar to Ryan Blaney, and it was like they threw it both times, so they were consistent. So big props on them for that. But then we get the yellows that ensued, and it just utterly devolved the race into barbarian, caveman dwelling antics, and what I felt like could have been an 8 out of 10 race. We had 3 overtimes, which that knocks it down to a 5, but then at least at the bare minimum, the person that was the best all race long deserved it or earned it. So that elevates it to a 6. Got salvaged. That could have been even lower than that. It could have been a 4 if and it's just so many people doing stupid shit on track, from the dive bombs. Turn 1's an abomination. I got the word right this week. An abomination. It's terrible. And yeah, I'm kind of with Disco Inferno on this. It's trash. It's has no business. This track has no business being on the schedule if that's just how it's going to be from now on with these starts and how tight that corner is. Like, this track was not designed for stock cars, and clearly that is the case. There's 2 or 3 corners like that where it's a very sharp just turn, and it's awful. It's always going to have these stupid shit, this dumb shit happen, and it's embarrassing. I feel embarrassed. I get secondhand embarrassment from the fact that high-tier caliber drivers like Jenson Button, Kimi Räikkönen had to be a part of this shit show, which just, I would feel embarrassed just how that was playing. It's just stupid. It's just, I can't look at that when they're going 6-7 wide, people getting punted and everything like that. It's just awful. Unless they completely change or reconfigure the track, or have the start-finish line, or have the turn 1 be somewhere else on the track. I have no idea how that can be fixed. Or unless they go single file, because double file restarts is another gimmick. People don't want to admit that, but it is a gimmick. That's why it was implemented in the first place. But yeah, maybe if we get rid of that, then maybe that would be a thing. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't be as much of a shit show. It probably still would be one, but I don't know. But yeah, so that's why I'm only giving it a 6. Could have been a lot lower, but at least the best driver won, which I appreciate. Very mixed feelings on the matter, because I don't really like Reddick. How he handled the whole RCR situation, that was just gross. But I'm more happy for Kirk, because he was getting emotional in the booth, and it made me emotional, and I hate it, because it gave me, I don't know how to feel type of vibes. So that was cool. I don't know what really to say beyond that, other than just the race was so close to being really, really interesting, and it just got ruined by just all these yellows and all this dumb shit in turn 1. It's just stupid. Just absolute stupidity, and I can't look at a race and give it some astronomical scoring with that type of shit happening at the end. It was just embarrassing. So it knocks it down a couple pegs, but yeah, I don't know what more to say beyond that. Is there anything more to say? Suarez, yeah, that was gross. Running into Bowman there in pit road, where there's people around, like, that was just gross. I was ranting and raving when Ty Gibbs did that at Texas. It was egregious then and egregious now. You don't do that shit going down the pit road, bumping someone 3, 4 times like that when something could have happened. It's a very needless thing. It's one thing to bump them after the pace laps and you're on the racing surface, sure, like after the race, but doing it on pit road is very dangerous, and people could have gotten hurt or killed. That's how it happened back in 1990. At Atlanta, we don't want that shit. Like that was the speed limit thing, but you don't want to avoid dumb things like that. So that was stupid. I don't know. It's just frustrating because that race was shaping out to be something really, really special, and it just got completely destroyed by yellows. And there's no fault of anything. The yellows were legitimate. They made sense. So, but when you get a stupid turn one that's like the Indy Road Course and like the Chicago Street Course, oh, we have to race Chicago. You can't judge it. We've seen a layout. There's corners on that track that are just like the Indy Road Course and COTA turn one, where it's just people are going to get wrecked. People are going to get dumped when you're going 7. It's going to be stupid. Calling it now. When it gets near to the end of these races, people are going to do stupid shit. And when you do stupid things like that, you get stupid prizes. And it was just frustrating to watch that. I would have been probably more livid and more on another ranty level if Reddick got screwed out of that, or Byron, because those two were like the fastest all day. Because at the very least, I want the best driver to win the race, and we at least got that, so it's not as big of an atrocity that it could have been. But yeah, I don't know. That's my thoughts. I'm just, yeah, I don't know. It's better than last week. I guess that's the bar. Yeah. Anyways, on the Richmond, which may or may not be good, I don't really know. Richmond's been weird. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. If we get like a long green flag run, maybe it'll be decent. But if we get short bursts, then maybe it won't be. I don't know. But I'm done. That's my thoughts. Take care.